Yeah.
We need to get information from, more updates from Edo State. Our reporter is standing by there, Sarah Ayeku, to bring us updates. Sarah, tell us where you are and give us update from there.
So I'm still in Etsako West local government, and this is Ward 11, Unit 005, Zoara West. And we understand that since the commencement of voting, that's at about 8:30, these persons have not been able to vote. So I'm talking about close to 1,000, about 900 voters are registered in this particular unit. And the reason that was given is the fact that the BVAS machine was not working as at the time. So just about 5-7 minutes ago, the BVAS started working. And so before we didn't see any INEC official at that point. They just came in now, and we understand that accreditation and voting has commenced. And incidentally, this is the polling unit of Mr. Philip Shaibu, and I'm going to bring him on now just so he can give us a sense of what these people that have stayed since morning, since as early as 8 a.m. this morning, they've been here waiting to see when INEC officials will resume and be at the polling units. And so when they got here, then the BVAS started malfunctioning. So I'll bring in Mr. Philip Shaibu just to give us a sense and help us understand what what he also has been going through. He has not voted yet, and this is about 12:38. So, sir, what have you been going through since morning, and what's the situation like?
Somebody that have gone through torture and intimidation and harassment from Godwin Obaseki. You should expect...
Sorry, sir, no name calling. I just wanted to stick with the issues, and let's just get this across.
Somebody that have gone through torture and intimidation and is still standing. You should know that by now I'm so experienced to the extent that no pressure, intimidation, or something close can affect me. I'm happy that our people are actually aware now. Consciousness is high. Since morning, I think only 2 or 3 persons voted before the BVAS developed fault. And they took it, they came back, and they left again. They came back, it was not working, they left. And the people were like, what is happening? I spoke to them, I said, calm down. This technology at times can have issues. And we waited. We waited patiently to the extent that I had to get this canopy and chairs for them to sit and wait. And why I was confident is that all other units, there's no problem. So that means it could be technology error, and which is expected. And they came just now to tell us it's working. And you can see, everybody is still intact. So I'm happy that somehow I was thinking sabotage, but with what is happening now, that small thought of sabotage is gone. But we are pleaded with INEC, in line with their rules also, that they should check the time that we are starting, and they should also add that time for us to be able to vote, because for all of us have to vote. We are here, so we must all vote. And for us to patiently wait shows that we want to actually vote and want to exercise our right to vote.
So you believe this is not a sabotage? Do you still have confidence in the electoral umpire?
Yes, with what has happened now, I don't think the small iota of doubt that I had is enriched completely. And I pray that as we start, it does not malfunction again. I pray it doesn't malfunction again. So I'm confident and I'm hopeful that with this consistent technological advancement, we will get there one day to the extent that you don't even need to come to polling units to vote. You can vote from the comfort of your home, and even diaspora can vote. So technology is one thing I will continue to support and appreciate.
All right, I think my final question for you is, talk to us about what you've heard so far from the other local governments. I know that you have ears on ground to ensure that the election is peaceful, credible, fair for your candidate, even for the opposition also. But talk to us, what have you been hearing? What's your assessment of this election so far?
Yes, one thing I've heard is that it's calm and peaceful. I've heard that. Those small pockets, but not as widespread that we thought would happen because of the kind of news that we've been hearing about violence, burning Nigeria, burning Edo State, and we are thankful that here in Zetu, it's peaceful, it's calm, and even the weather is very, very calm. So maybe the weather also influenced the serenity that we have had here. You can see the people. Look at the crowd waiting till about 12:30 to wait for the beavers, and nobody is going home. It shows the consciousness of our people is now high, and I think it's good for democracy, because democracy is about the people. Democracy is about the people choosing their leaders, and when the leaders do well, they give them any time they want. If they don't do well, they still have the chance to use their voters' card to vote them out. So I am confident that we'll continue to support democracy, and democracy is one government, no matter how, it's still the best form of government. And I can tell you that what I've seen here today, the level of patience that I've seen here today, all of us leaders, we have to sit up because the people are now conscious of their rights.
Thank you so much, sir. Precious, you just heard it. So if you take a look at what he's trying to say about the people that have been here since 8 a.m., ensuring that they cast their ballot and vote for a candidate of their choice, these are the people that have been waiting. If you take a look at the voting points, it's crowded, and just a few people that do not have access to that point yet are seated under this canopy and just waiting to choose their preferred candidate. Precious.
And Sarah, we've heard from the reinstated deputy governor talking about the consciousness of the people. But when you speak to the people, what are they saying and what's their mood?
You know, when we got here initially, they didn't want us to use the cameras because they just didn't want us to peddle fake news, which is one of the things that have characterized this particular election. Fake news just days before election, particularly on the eve of the election. There were a lot of fake news about some candidate pulling out of the race, about some sort of stories, you know. People are peddling stories around. And so when we got here initially, they didn't want us to use our cameras because they were not sure of our intentions. But after they got that confidence, which is why we can use the camera now, they got that confidence, they knew that we were not here to sabotage the process, we were just here to do our jobs as journalists. And that's what you've seen. And you see the people just standing around and just waiting patiently. And most of them, even though they are hungry, because they've been waiting for hours now, even though they are hungry, they're still here. There are people around selling small stuff, a bit of soft drinks that they can have and just chill and wait for this election time. We just hope that INEC would issue a statement on time to extend the time of this election.
And then, based on what the incumbent deputy governor mentioned, saying that the people are actually waiting patiently, have you actually confirmed from them whether truly the reason why they are waiting is because they really want to exercise their franchise, or some of them are just there to, monitor the process of the election?
Apart from the party agents that are around, right, which is just like a fraction, a tiny fraction of the people that you see here, and apart from the party supporters, of course the party supporters are voting, they need to vote for their candidates. So apart from that tiny fraction of party agents or journalists, election observers, we've not really seen a lot around here. It was in the previous polling units that we've seen some election observers, EFCC officials also. The people that you see here are here for the election. You see them taking a seat and sitting and watching, waiting. As you can see the queue, right? Initially, right, we didn't have a lot of people around that voting area. We didn't have a lot of people around the voting area. What we had was just that people were lined up. You had the male on one line, you had the female on the other line. But you see now that the lines have been blurred. The lines are now blurry. People are trying to search for their names, and then vote for the candidates of their choice. So, accreditation and voting is ongoing at the same time. So people that are here to vote. They are not observers. They're not election observers. If they're election observers, they will have the tag of an election observer. They are here to vote for the candidates of their choice. And so the number that you see is expected, because just in this polling unit alone, I think about 900 registered voters are at this polling unit. While the number of PVCs collected, we do not know yet, because it's not stated on the list that we have there. But on that list, what we have is registered voters, about 900 of them are on that list, and that's why you see this number of people just in this polling unit. If you go to another polling unit where voting, we do not have a lot of voters there, that's the case of the other. But this particular polling unit, which is 005, that's where you have this number of registered voters there.
All right, Sarah, thank you for that update. I'm sure we'll get back to you to get more updates on the situation there. Our reporter live for us in Etsako West local government area in Edo State. She's been talking about the situation there. That's Ward Unit 005, Ward 11 in Etsako West local government area. She said from the report we're getting, the BVOS machine has had to be replaced twice because they were not working. Voting started 20 minutes ago now, because she said 5 minutes ago.